Hi everybody, welcome to another edition of the Monday or Wednesday Shiur, maybe Thursday by this point. But we'd like to thank the sponsors as always, and we'd also like to wish a refuah shlema to Ram ben Sar Gito, Menachem ben Sar, and Shoshana bat Miriam, refuat nefesh, refuat guf, betoch shar cholei Yisrael. So today we will give a brief shiur. I'm going to try to make them a bit shorter because I see the numbers are going down in the reviews. And we'll talk a little bit about the parasha, which discusses this week Matan Torah. Parashat Yitro is when we got the Torah. Moshe Rabbeinu went up Har Sinai for 40 days, and he came down with the Luchot and the entire Torah, Torah Shebiktav, Torah Sheba'al Peh. And in this Torah, the content is many stories which teach us good behavior, good midot, and the bulk of it is the 613 mitzvot. We were commanded all these various mitzvot by HaKadosh Baruch Hu in many different areas of our life, and we are expected to conduct our lives according to those mitzvot. Now I'd like to just mention here a Gemara in Kiddushin, a story. It's a story that you might know, and it's about a goy, a non-Jew, and this non-Jew was named Dama ben Netina, and the story says as follows. The Chachamim wished to purchase from Dama ben Netina something very valuable. It was special stones for one of the articles of clothing that the Kohen Gadol wore in the Bet HaMikdash. They were called the Avanim LeEphod. The asking price, the Chachamim declared that they were willing to pay 600,000 of whatever currency it was, and some say 800,000. So they're asking for a good amount. They were willing to pay a very heavy price for this precious artifact. Now the problem was that the key to the vault where these stones were stored was found underneath the pillow where his father was at that time sleeping, the father of the goy. So the goy did not bother his father. He went and told the Chachamim, I cannot accept this deal. You can offer me all the money in the world, and I will not be able to go under my father's pillow and get that key so as not to wake him up. Kadosh Baruch Hu repaid this goy, Dama ben Netina, that in that year a para aduma, a red heifer, was born in his flock. Nichnesu chachamei Yisrael etzlo. Amri lahem yodea ani bachem she'im ani mevakesh mikem kol mamon shebaolam atem notnin li ela en ani mevakesh mikem elo oto mamon she'hifsadeti bishvil kavod abba. And then when the Chachamim came to him to ask him for the red heifer, which was a very, very, very valuable item, almost invaluable. So he told them, Chachamim, I know that if I give any amount as the price, you'll pay it, because this is such a crazy valuable item to you. Nevertheless, I'm only going to request that you pay me for this red heifer the amount that you were going to pay me for the stones. And so the Gemara concludes over there, Amar b'chanina, if a goy who is not commanded in the mitzvah of kibud av ve'em, that's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu does for him. He puts this gold mine in his field. So if somebody is commanded to do a mitzvah and he does it, all the more so. So you see from here, says the Gemara, and this is what we want to discuss today, the Amar Chisda, Gadol ha-metzuveh ve'oseh mimi she'en metzuveh ve'oseh. Great is the person who is commanded to do a mitzvah and does it, better than the person who is not commanded to do a mitzvah and does it anyways. Now the question is, why? Why is it that somebody who is commanded to do a mitzvah and does it is better than somebody who is not commanded? Maybe logic might dictate the opposite. You'll say that if a person is commanded to do something, he's forced. He has to do it. It's a command from his boss. And he could lose his job, or in this case, lose significant reward, maybe get punished. Whereas somebody who's not commanded to do something does it out of his own goodwill. So if he does it, we would think maybe he's on a higher level. He's doing something more noble and more lofty. And yet the Gemara says the opposite. The higher level is the person who is commanded to do the mitzvah and does the mitzvah. Now, Tosfot here explains, this is Kiddushin Lamed Aleph Amud Aleph for anybody who wants to look inside. The Tosfot says, Nir Deinu Tama, the reason for this is The one who's commanded and does the mitzvah is better. Why? So he is always worried and pained that maybe he might transgress this mitzvah. He's worried, so he's going to make sure to do the mitzvah no matter what comes. And he is better, mimi she'en mitzuveh. He's better than the one who's not commanded. Why? Sheyesh lo pat besalo, she'im yitzeh yaniach. Because the one who is not commanded to do the mitzvah, he has what the Chachamim call pat besalo, which is bread in his basket. That means he has a rainy day fund. He has what to fall back on. He's not too worried about it. And therefore, when the time comes that he wants to not do this mitzvah, or he wants to transgress a mitzvah, yaniach, so he'll leave it and he won't do it. He won't do that mitzvah. Therefore, the person who is commanded, who will make sure that it'll be done, so he is on a higher level than the person who's not commanded, because maybe he might not do it altogether. And that is the Gemara that I wanted to quote. Hashem gave us the Torah. It's called Matan Torah. Matan Torah. Now, the word Matan is probably, I would assume, connected to the word matana. And as we all know, if we speak a little bit of Hebrew, the word matana means a gift. And the Torah is not a burden. The Torah is not a set of rules that's meant to ruin our life, meant to inconvenience us in any way. The Torah is actually just a book of 613 opportunities for all of us. We have every mitzvah. All these mitzvot are very precious and special. Each one of them offers something different. Kabbalistically, for sure, there's all sorts of things going on with these mitzvot when we perform them. But even on a simple level, every mitzvah that you do connects you to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And therefore, when a person approaches the Torah and he says to himself, look, I want to keep these mitzvot. I'm a mitzuveh. I am commanded to do these mitzvot. When we accepted that Torah a couple thousand years ago, that wasn't just for them, for our great-great-grand ancestors, grandparents. It's for us too. It's ledorot, for generations. Even now, we are all expected, even a 13-year-old boy or a 12-year-old girl, they are expected to keep the 613 mitzvot in the same way that the biggest rabbi is expected to keep the 613 mitzvot. They have to believe in Hashem. They have to wear tzitzit. They have to light the Shabbat candles. They have to keep the mitzvot. They have to keep all 613, the oraita, the rabbanan. There's no exceptions. Now, when a person views it as a burden, so they'll say that's 613 inconveniences in my life. That's something I don't want to do. I'm not interested in this. And therefore, they will not be doeg umitzta'er, as Tosfot says. They will not be worried to keep the mitzvot. They will not be worried to keep the mitzvot. But somebody who is not mitzuveh b'oseh, so if he wants to, he'll leave it. We'll get back to that in a moment. If we view the Torah as an opportunity, then the mitzvot are a pleasure. It's something that we want to do. It's something we look forward to. It's something that we can use to connect to Hashem, to get Olam Haba, which is really what we're working for over here. And the Arizal actually says that the secret to his success, the Arizal was one of the greatest mikubal probably ever, maybe aside from Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. And the Arizal says, what's the secret to his success? He told his student that every mitzvah he did it with simcha. He did it with a joy, a happiness. And I think that's what we're saying over here, as the Baalei Musar say, that the joy that he experienced was that he connected to the mitzvah in such a way that it was an opportunity. It was a positive experience for him to do the mitzvah. Now, mi she'ein mitzuveh, so that person, the person who's not commanded to do the mitzvah, so for him, if he wants to do it, he'll do it. If he doesn't want to, he doesn't lose. So there's really no pressure on this person. And our job is to make ourselves into the mitzuveh ve'oseh. We are people that are commanded to do the mitzvot. We are mitzuveh, and therefore we have to do it. And that's not a negative thing. It's not negative pressure. We have to do it because Hashem wants us to experience this opportunity, and He wants to benefit us with His mitzvot. And most of all, the Baalei Musar say that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to remove from our hearts this terrible, terrible, terrible trait that many of us have. We're all born with it. It's called shrirut lev. Shrirut lev means that I go with what my heart wants. I feel like doing this, and therefore I will do it. I don't feel like doing this, and therefore I will not do it. Now, when a person relates to the Torah with that attitude, with shrirut lev, then he is an Eino Mitzuveh. He puts himself into that category of somebody who is not commanded to do the mitzvot, as Tosfot says, Im Yirtzeh Yaniach. If he wants to, he'll just leave the mitzvah. Now, this can be a person, we're not talking about some guy in Tel Aviv, without a kippah. We're talking about a fully religious Jew, somebody like you and I that are doing all the mitzvot perfectly. But we're doing it because we want to do it. It feels right to us. It sounds good to us. Now that's an incredible thing. The Gemara says that he's still great, but he hasn't reached the ultimate heights. He is not a mitzuveh ve'oseh. The mitzuveh ve'oseh, he does the mitzvot because he's commanded to do it. The person who does mitzvot because it feels nice, even if he does all 613 perfectly, he still hasn't gotten there yet, because when the time comes, he's tired, and if she doesn't want to do it, it's hard, it's bad weather, whatever it is, they'll just forget about it. We're not doing it today, next time. And that's not the attitude. The attitude is, Hashem gave us the Torah, it's a matana, we are commanded to do the mitzvot. It is not a negative thing, it is not an inconvenience, it is a positive worry, a positive pressure that HaKadosh Baruch Hu puts on us as an encouragement to do the right thing, as an encouragement to get ourselves the best chelik in Olam Haba, the best portion in the world to come, and the best life in Olam Hazeh, in this world as well. People who are keeping mitzvot live the happiest lives. Forget about how much money they have or don't have, but they're living the happiest lives. It's something that they know they are doing the right thing, and there's a certain yishuv hadat, there's a certain peace of mind that comes with that. I want to thank you all for listening. Chazak u'baruch, and we'll see you next time.